I'm Bob Harris for Durman Engineered Products. Several years ago, Durman produced a series of videos that were how-to videos on the complete Durman system. One of those videos was the Lumiere decorative epoxy system, which got an overwhelming response. A lot of people wanted to see more of that system, and so we just now produced a series of videos that's going to demonstrate the Lumiere decorative epoxy coating system. Basically, we've categorized it into 5 different series. Each series will include 3 color options. Please understand, this is not a how-to video, it's more of an inspirational video to help you come up with some color inspiration and witness some of the unbelievable color effects that you can do with the Lumiere system. So each of those will also, the video series will also spell out where these applications could be used. For example, a restaurant, a high-end bar, tenant improvement, retail outlet, museums, tattoo shops. So enjoy the videos and have fun with the Lumiere decorative epoxy system. Each of our series consists of 3 independent sample boards. Our first series really lends itself to garages and basements, for example, because they're going to be somewhat neutral in color. There is no predetermined rule that says you have to use specific colors for a given application, such as a restaurant or anything like that, or an interior home. But our first series really lends itself, like I just mentioned, to basements and garages. So there's a lot of different ways that you can put down the metallic epoxies, and it's actually a little difficult working on a 3x5 sample board. But we want to demonstrate different application techniques as well. So a quick, easy way to create dramatic effects is by putting down an entire base coat color first. And the color that we're using is aluminum. And so literally, once this material has been mixed, the goal is to just get it out on the panel quickly. And there's a variety of ways to actually spread the material. A lot of applicators like the use of what's referred to as a magic trowel. You can actually put the magic trowel on a handle so you're not bending over or on your knees and use it as a squeegee. It's very quick and easy to use the magic trowel. For special effects, some will use a hand trowel and trowel the material down. So if you're going to magic trowel the material down, I'm putting very light pressure, almost no pressure on this material. If I push too hard on it, it's going to take too much away. So just almost the weight of the magic trowel itself is about the amount of pressure that you need to put the material down. So our goal in this instance is to cover the entire surface area with this color first. And then what we're going to do is come back and put in our contrasting color simply by pouring ribbons into it. Now again, there's no rule on how you apply the material. You can simply pour little independent ribbons. Some guys will come in and do this, okay? Now you just need to factor in how much or how little you're trying to do and the effects that you're trying to create. And usually experimentation and also sample boards helps you make that determination. So once again, you could easily be standing up, and for demonstration purposes, I'll just show you. And you can simply blend, like you see here, and you can see the dramatic effects that you can get simply by blending with the magic trowel. It's quick and it's easy and produces stunning dramatic effects. Now on an actual project, you're going to need to figure out how much volume or area you can put down before you put your secondary color using this technique. And again, to clarify, this technique is put a base color down, walk back out carefully in your spike shoes, pour ribbons on top of the previously applied first base color. Generally, we'll put down usually 200 to 300 square feet roughly, and then go back out and catch that up. So you can't expect to go put 1,000 square feet and then walk back out on it for your blending color, because too much time has elapsed. So a couple hundred square feet, and put your contrasting color in here. Doesn't take a lot, just blend it real subtle. Random techniques, more texture is better. So if you're blending like this, you can see I'm purposely trying to create texture with my trowel. I'm not pushing hard, and I'm actually running it flat to create this texture that you see here as one technique for our garage and basement series. Our next color combination for series number 1 is jet black and quicksilver. Again, what we're going to do now is demonstrate a different application technique. We're just simply going to pour ribbons of color and then blend the two colors together. You can blend the two colors together with what's referred to as a notched squeegee, and simply squeegee this material down. Or in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to use what's called a textured roller and just use it as a squeegee to kind of blend the colors. This is probably the quickest and the simplest application technique, simply by pouring just your two different colors. There's no rule that says you have to stop at 2 colors. You can put more than that. On a larger job, you might even want to consider the use of an 18-inch textured roller. The goal is we don't want to see roller lines, because the pigment will separate if you just use a traditional 3/8 inch nap roller. So that's why we were going to use a textured roller. So we're going to start by pouring ribbons of the jet black. Now, once again, out on a project, you're in elevated shoes or spiked shoes to keep yourself suspended above. And then all we're going to do is simply come in with our textured roller and simply blend. As you can see, it's not leaving a visible pattern like a normal 3/8 inch or 1/2 inch nap roller would leave. So I'm using this almost more as a squeegee to kind of blend the colors. Now, we'll show you some different techniques in some of the other video series, but you can also create additional texture by simply spritzing it with a solvent such as MEK, which is methyl ethyl ketone. And if you do choose to spritz, you want to make sure you do it at the right time. And the right time is going to vary if you do that. If you do it too soon, you're going to lose all of your technique, your marbleizing effect, because it's going to level back out. And if you do it too late, you're not going to have the material key into it. The solvent's not going to do anything to it. So anyways, you can see it's a very simple, fast process by simply blending with a textured roller, and it'll do its own thing and level out. And you can leave it like that and you have an absolutely beautiful and stunning looking floor just by pouring ribbons and blending with your textured roller. On our jet black and quicksilver sample here, we simply blended, as we showed you, with a textured roller and then just back rolled it with a textured roller. You could leave that, as you can see, it creates an interesting technique. Or if you were concerned about any minor lines, now keep in mind this will still settle out for at least the next hour or longer, so it'll kind of transform. But as an option, you could take a traditional 3/8 of an inch nap roller and you could simply blend it back out as well by giving this effect like that. So you have a couple of options in terms of putting it down. I happen to like the textured roller and just leave it like that. It gives it a very interesting look. We're going to leave both samples so we can see what a finished shot looks like. Our third and final color combination for Series 1 garage and basement floors consists of copper, cappuccino, and an accent of Merlot. In this instance, what we're going to do is put a whole base layer of the copper first. And on a large project, this is where we would actually be using a magic trowel on a stick or a pole and just putting it down quickly. You can see how nice this lays the product down. Once we get this down, we would then, remember on an earlier video series, I had mentioned that you probably don't want to put down more than about 300 square feet, 200 to 300 square feet without starting your secondary or your accent color. So kind of project out where that would be. But you simply get your base down quick, like you see here. And then we're just going to come back in with our accent colors, starting with cappuccino, followed by the Merlot. It could be as simple as pouring right out of the bucket your secondary color. Complete 100% coverage is not mandatory right now because remember we're putting 2 additional colors on here. So we have the majority of the board covered. You can pour larger areas. It's really a function of the effect that you're trying to get. We'll stop there and now simply blend. These 2 colors by themselves create a beautiful color combination. The nice thing, once you learn how these metallic and epoxy systems work, and you learn the time frames, you can always go back out and add a little additional accent color in the event you're not satisfied with the effect that you're getting. Okay, so for example, I have a little bit of our cappuccino. Say I wanted an area a little bit bolder, maybe one area over here. I could use a little margin trowel if I chose to, just to blend areas. And then let it create its own effects simply by leveling out and laying flat. Now, that in itself is going to be an easy application. It's going to be a popular seller for the consumer. Works well in garage coatings, works well in a basement application. If you want to take it to the next level, not mandatory, but as an option, you could put just some contrasting colors of Merlot. And these 3 colors would be considered kind of complementary colors in that they work well together. So there's not glaring contrast. And once they blend in, they really work nice together. So again, on a large application, you could literally just have this tool on a handle, and you could blend with that, or you could blend right with your magic trowel and just get it to blend in. Once you've got it to blend, you literally just let it kind of do its own thing. So I'll kind of make some connecting veins here. And as you'll see in the finished product, this will really transform over the next hour or so once it lays out and levels. Now that you've completed your Lumiere Designer epoxy coating system, it's time to put a top coat or a clear coat over the top to preserve this canvas. Keep in mind the Lumiere by itself is 100% solids epoxy, which really is not scuff or abrasion resistant. So for that reason, we want to use one of the 4 Duraman coating systems over the top of that to preserve it. If you're within a 24-hour time frame, in other words, when you've applied the Lumiere, you can come back within 24 hours, and assuming you don't have any outgassing bubbles or imperfections, you could clear coat right over the top without abrading the surface. However, if you exceed that 24-hour window of opportunity, you're going to need to scuff it up or sand it. Basically, you want to degloss it and level out any blisters or bubbles or outgassing voids that you may have. Generally, a 100 screen on the bottom of a floor machine. For more information on that, you can visit the Duraman website and watch the previous videos that we shot on how to prepare the surface for your coating application. The 4 systems that we're going to be demonstrating for these video series is the Purdue P98, which is a high solids, 98% solids polyaspartic. You can also get their version of this in a 72% solids, which is a little bit lower. What's the difference? The difference is the higher solids is going to stand up to scuffing and scratching in high traffic areas. So other consideration is the project budget, for example. You know, if you have a little bit of a lower budget, the lower solids, the P72 is going to be a little bit more cost effective than the higher solids. We're going to also be demonstrating the Purdue U90, which is a moisture cured high solids polyurethane system. Now, the fact that it is moisture cured, you want to let the Lumiere cure a minimum of 18 hours. Don't apply this product prior to that 18-hour window. The fact that it is moisture cured, if there's any moisture that's trying to come out of that system, it could actually, flash set this off. So 18 hours minimum. Really a great product, high gloss, very, very good scuff and scratch and abrasion resistance. This product is used in aggressive environments like airport or airplane hangars, for example, malls, that thing, where they want optimum performance. Also, we're going to get into the water-based system that Duraman offers. First of which is U46, which is a water-based glossed polyurethane. Now, they also have a version in matte, which is referred to as the U45. So you can get both systems water-based, virtually no odor. Really great too if odor is a concern. Perhaps you're working in an enclosed area, maybe it's a home, a residential home, and you can't have an odor. Great systems to consider, which is the U46 and the U45.